Welcome back, True Seeker. In the headlines, April 12th, 2023, the death of former LSU basketball player Wayne Sims, who dropped dead unexpectedly at age 54. And not only that, but he died 54 months after his son's murder. And, it was just a few years ago, I was down at the LSU campus talking about the significance of this number, all of the deaths that were connected to the LSU football championship, which Joe Burrow won on a 54 date numerology, a man who would then go to the NFL and play for the Cincinnati Bengals and take them to the Super Bowl in their 54th NFL season. Again, if you follow my work on sports, we're talking about 54 and Joe Burrow all the time. But the number is connected to a secret society that really does control our education system, and that is the Jesuit order. Gematria, the Kabbalistic practice of coding numbers into words. Jesuit order equals 54. And if you read the articles about Wayne Sims, every single article is talking about his career best game for LSU, which was against Jesuit Georgetown. And if you look into Georgetown, they were established by John Carroll, whose name equals 54 in Gematria, like Jesuit order, when John Carroll was 54 years old. And the word sun also equates to 54, and the Jesuit logo is the sun, and that's because they serve the Catholic Church, which is a sun cult. But these rituals are not an accident. His son was murdered the day after the Jesuit recognition anniversary. The Jesuits were recognized to counter the 95 Theses on the day leaving 95 days left in the year, September 27th. The son was murdered on September 28th. So again, think about that. The sun, right? The object in the sky. The son murdered 54 months before the father drops dead at age 54. S-U-N. The sun in the sky is 54, but again, English. We use sun for male offspring and for the object in the sky. The Catholic Church celebrates the sun's birthday on December 25th since the year 274 AD. The Jesuit motto, Isus hominum salvator, equals 274. The Catholic Church celebrates the Son of God, Jesus' birthday, on 1225 since the year 320 AD, which is 46 years later. Catholic equals 46. 46 books in the Catholic Old Testament. Roman Catholic Church, 320. Again, if you look into English, the calendar system we're on, they're both credited to the Catholic Church. The calendar is named after the Pope. The word Pope equals 52, thus the 52-week calendar. But these are the entities that are responsible for the language that we're speaking, English, the calendar system that the world's telling time by, which is based on the sun. And that's why the same rituals continue to unfold in the same types of ways. If you've never seen the movie They Live, it's a nod to Gematria. When you put on the glasses, then you see the language. Cable 54 is the enemy of the world in that film. And again, there's a number of things that I could point out in the numbers here. But again, all of the articles are pointing out about his career game against Georgetown, again, the Jesuit university. Also noteworthy, his death was April 12th, the anniversary of the start of the American Civil War. Look into what Abraham Lincoln said. Lincoln said there never would have been a civil war without the sinister influence of the Jesuit order. But April 12th is the 102nd day of the year. Slavery equals 102 for the record, the war that had a lot to do with slavery as well. But what did the women's team just win the championship with? They just scored 102 points, didn't they? So the women's team just won the championship with 102 points. Now he's dead on the 102nd day of the year. And again, who won the first ever March Madness? Do you remember? It was Jesuit Georgetown I take it back. Georgetown won in 84. The first official March Madness was the next year. The Catholic school Villanova beat the Jesuit school Georgetown in 85. By the way, basketball equals 85. But yeah, I mean, this stuff, you guys, it's something else. And again, son's death to the father's death, 54 months and days later. And by the way, the son wore the number 44, very tragic number. MLK assassinated on 4/4. Remember, Martin Luther King Jr., who assumed the name Martin Luther after the leader of the Protestant Reformation who wrote the 95 Theses, got assassinated on the 95th day of the year in 1968, April 4th, 4/4. That was also the day in history that Martin Luther became a Jesuit priest before Excuse me, he didn't become a Jesuit priest. He became a Catholic priest, but before he turned against the Catholic Church, which brought about the Jesuit order. But words like shooting, execution, and kill have Gematria 44. Very fateful number. Number 44, killed in a shooting. And, that was just before, in time, Joe Burrow came along and led LSU to the championship. And by the way, Joe Burrow, another thing to look into, the day that he transferred from Ohio State to LSU was the day in history that Ignatius Loyola was shot with a cannonball. That's the first leader of the Jesuits. And on the day that Joe Burrow transferred to LSU, that's the same day Billy Cannon died. Cannonball, Billy Cannon. Billy Cannon won the Heisman, something that never happened for an LSU player until Joe Burrow. And Billy Cannon beat Clemson in the championship in New Orleans, just like Joe Burrow went on to do on the 54 date numerology. And by the way, New Orleans equals 54 as well. So what I'm saying is it's pretty obvious what entity, is the overlord of LSU. It might not be a Jesuit university, but they're participating in a lot of Jesuit rituals with the same number code. And if you guys haven't seen, when I went to LSU, there is some remaining footage from there. If you type in Zachary K. Hubbard at LSU, you should find this video. And again, I was educating about the number of people who died for that championship. This is at the very beginning of 2020, right after LSU beat Clemson on January 13th, 2020 in New Orleans. 1 plus 13 plus 20 plus 20, 54. We'll leave it there for now, True Seeker. R.I.P. to Wayne Sims. And actually, let me say one more thing. Another pattern that we talk about all the time. Murder by numbers. The word murder equals 38, like killing, like death, like R.I.P. The name Wayne Sims equals 38, fateful name. And again, you guys, it's just undeniable, the repetitious patterns. This is just collection from recent days right here. First person dead in China from H3N8 bird flu, 3-8. She died on 16/3, 163 is the 38th prime. Hockey player drafted by the Dallas Stars drops dead at 38. There's a lot more to say about that. Be covering that on Patreon on the Gematria Effect Sports Group. Thank you to everyone who supports the work. Again, it pays to support my work because we put out winning knowledge day after day, like why the Bulls were going to upset last night in the play-in game, all synced up with Jimmy Butler to bring his two teams together. But again, just look at this right here. This is the other day, CNN trying to scare people out of weight loss, and they got to show you the tape measure going up to 38 inches and a headline about death. Death, murder, killing, R.I.P., all 38. Gematria 38. Gematria, the killing name, a song out there. And again, if you've never seen the cover of Murder by Numbers, the movie poster, the E's changed to the 3, the B to the 8. 3883. Gematria based on the alphabetic order forwards and backwards with numerology. Same patterns over and over. The name Wayne Sims, 38. Louisiana also has that 38 Gematria. Again, 5 states have the Gematria of 38. Louisiana, Minnesota, might remind you of when we had the Facebook live killings in the same day of Alton Sterling and Philando Castile from Minnesota and Louisiana. Also, Oregon, Florida, and Colorado, which is also the 38th state. All right, we'll leave it there for now, and until next time.